Hello, I'm David Baker, running for county mayor, and it's here. Can you believe it? Election week. This week, Thursday, August 4th, from 7 in the morning till 7 at night, and it's over. Are you ready? Oh, no, no more mailers, no more ads, no more signs everywhere, no more fighting, no more bickering, no more all of that. Okay, there'll probably always be fighting and bickering, but the election will be over on Thursday. What a great thing. There were 7,320 or 7,520, I think it is, people that voted in early election. So there's still a lot of people that are undecided, or a lot of people that are planning to vote on the election, on the day of the election. So I thought I would make a video for any undecided voters, okay? If you've already decided and you're voting for me, awesome. Hope you enjoy the video. If you've already decided and you hate me, thank you. Keep going. I'm sorry that you do. Hopefully I can change that one day. But there are many people that are undecided. I want to give you a couple reasons why to consider voting for me. Number one, I will stand. I will stand. There was a guy named Ron that came by one day, and he stopped and talked to me at the waving line in the early voting. And he had had some bad issues with the county and some things that were not done according to code. Were not done according to the way that things were supposed to be by the ordinance. And he came and said, if you're elected, what are you going to do? And I told him, I don't have a choice. So what do you mean? So I don't have a choice. I said, life is supposed to be lived by principle, not by push or pressure or what somebody else thinks. I said, I'm a Christian and a pastor. This book is my authority in all matters of faith and practice. What this says is what I believe. And that's what I'm going to do to the best of my ability. How come? Because as a Christian, that's my guide. This is a copy of the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. It's not very big. Concerning the United States of America, this is it. Our Constitution, it decides what we do. I don't have a choice to do what I want. This is our document that was ratified for our country, and this is what we go by inside our country. This is what we do. Concerning the county, whatever the codes are, whatever the ordinances are, then that's what I will go by. I have to. I have no choice, because life is to be lived by principle, not by who wants this, who doesn't want this, who donated to my campaign, who will help me get to the next elected office. None of those things matter. The only thing that matters is, what is the principle? What does the code say? What does the law say? What does the Bible say? However we're to govern our life in that area concerning the county, that's what are the codes, what do the ordinances say? That's what we do. I don't have a choice. Now, can we change them? Sure. If there's a bad ordinance, and there are, they're bad code, and there will be. If that's the case, then what do? Then we change them. We go to the county commission, we explain our case, and we change it. That can be done. County commission can do that. Some great county commissioners coming in. I believe there's going to be some good things for the county. Concerning our country, if there's something bad, can we change it? Absolutely, and we have. There were bad things that were in the beginning of our country, and through amendments, then we're able to change those. It's hard. It's not easy. You need 3/4 of the Congress and 3/4 of the states to ratify that. They didn't make it easy to be able to do. They wanted to make sure it's something that most of the country agreed with. And we have had many amendments to our Constitution that have passed, so we can change that. Now, concerning the Bible, no, can't change that one, okay? God doesn't give us the ability to edit that one. Whatever God said, that's what it is, and that's what we're to go by. So we can't change it. Someone else said, David, I was going to vote for somebody else, and they're a good person. But honestly, through watching all of this, I don't know that they're going to be strong enough to do what needs to be done. Watching you with all the battle and all the fight, with all the hate, and seeing what you've done and seeing how you've handled that, I believe that you are who we need to be in that office as mayor. I was honored and said thank you. But can you stand? Can you stand in all those things? It's a big deal. From the military background of the 82nd Airborne Division as a paratrooper and being a preacher, yes, to stand on the principles, to be strong enough to do, I will, absolutely. Right is right. I don't care. When right is right, I don't care. I have no political aspirations. There's nothing I'm running for after this. I'm not beholden to anyone, even in fundraising. I have good friends all around the country, and I asked many of them if they would consider donating for this campaign. How come? Because many times when it's local people, then they feel like that they have influence and that you will do things for them and favors for them because they helped you get there. There's a lot of that goes on. You can look at my fundraising. Most of the funds came from friends who have no influence or no dog in this fight, but they were friends and believed in me and said, yes, I'd like to support that campaign. I am not beholden to anyone any person, any business, anything. The only thing I'm beholden to are the people and the voters of Maury County. I am one. I was born here. My family's here. We moved to Maury County in 1806. It became a county in 1807. That's how long our family goes back here. And that's what it's about. So, number one, I will stand. I promise you that. Number two, I understand what the biggest problem is: growth. And I've got a lot of ideas of things that we can do. My brain is a fixed brain problem. I taught algebra. I love finding the X, and there is an answer. Sometimes they're not easy. Sometimes it takes a lot of steps and a lot of formulas and theorems to get the answer, but there is an answer for this. And we can find it. And I want to just share just a little bit. When I first started running, and I would ask people, what do you think the biggest problem in our county is? Everybody. I could say 99%, probably 100%. The biggest problem: growth, growth, growth. Everybody. Everyone says it. Everyone knows it. And people talk about it. But what are they going to do? How are they going to stop that? Some people say they're going to, but have no plan. And we're trying to, but what do we do? I'm going to give you just a little idea and a thought about that. One of the biggest problems we have with the growth is the city annexing county land and making it city land so they can put high-density properties on that. You can build a house in the country, in the county, on an acre or 5 acres. That doesn't affect and impact a lot of things and a lot of people. Beautiful homes in the countryside. Enjoy our county. Be a part. Absolutely great. No problem with that. But when you annex 400 acres off of Iron Bridge, or 400 acres off of Trotwood, and want to put 1,400 homes on one and 1,000 homes on the other, you are making major impact to this county that is going to have to be paid for by someone. Now, I've been to the city planning meetings, and they have all these studies they have to do. They have the traffic study. They hire a professional traffic study company that will come in, and they'll set up things to be able to monitor how many cars come in, what time of the day, what is it going to do to traffic, do we need to expand the road, do we need a turning lane here, do we need a traffic light here. All those things are scientific people who go to school for this and train. They know exactly what to do at this property, what we need, but the impact. If we add 300 cars or 500 cars to this place, what is it going to do? How is it going to impact the traffic? And we need to fix that. And we all see that. We see what happened in Spring Hill when they didn't do that, okay? And so the city of Spring Hill, there's a 2-lane highway that goes through, and everyone knows that and complains about it. We don't want that here. And so a traffic study is done, and before the approval is done, that traffic study has to be worked out, and this is what we're going to pay for to make sure that we can handle the traffic for this subdivision. Make sense? The same thing is done for water. Do we have enough water for that? By the way, those are issues, especially in a drought, and we need to look at those things. And the same for a sewer. Do we have enough processing to be able to handle what's going to come off as far as sewer? All those things are done. What's not done is a school study. Do you hear me? What's not done is a school study. The biggest impact on our county, and a school study is not done. They ask the school to comment on it, and the school says, we don't have the school, but if they're here, we'll find a way to educate them, even if we have to put them in trailers. And nobody wants that. And that's all that's done. And in the past, the schools have just been approved without having to have a school study. Listen carefully. What needs to be done is you hire a professional to come in and you do a school study impact, just like traffic, just like water, just like sewer. And it can't be approved until that school study is done. We do it for the others. Why don't we do it for the school? So we have an expert come in. They do a school study. As county mayor, I will push to make that happen. And with your help, we can do that. You say, you don't understand. You're the county mayor. You have no control over the city. You put 100 people there, or 500 people there, or 1,000 people there, saying, hey, we have to have a school study. Guess what? We'll have a school study, okay? There are things and ways to get that done. There are lawyers that can sue. Hey, you are making the county have a unfunded mandate to build the school, and you're not even doing an adequate school study. We're going to sue you until you do an adequate school study. There are ways to be able to make those things happen, and that's right and that's logical. It can be done. That's why I talked first about someone strong enough to do those things. Are you strong enough to make those happen? Absolutely. By the way, side note, everyone knows about this, but I'll just tell you. I had a guy call me who would not have been politically for me at all. He called me and said, by the way, I just want to let you know, I have so much more respect for you than I've ever had. I said, why? He said, because finally you were not going to take the lies. And when the other politician was lying about you, you did what you could to stop it by person. Then you went to another person who could mediate that. Then you did a cease and desist letter. And then you filed a lawsuit to make those lies stop. We need someone strong like you in that office who's not going to put up with things that are wrong. Wow, amazing. If you wonder, hey, is David Baker strong enough to push back and stand against these things in people? Absolutely. How come? Because I don't care. The only thing I care about is making sure we do what's right for Maury County. So we have this study, school study, professionally done. All right, let's say there's a new subdivision. It's being presented, and it's a Del Webb subdivision, which is for over 55. So the experts come in, they do a study, and they find out over 55, guess what? Most over 55 are not having children these days. And maybe you got 2 families in there who have some grandkids that are living with them. So you got 4 or 5 kids that are going into the school. Guess what impact this Del Webb subdivision will have on our county schools? 0. We can put 5 kids in the school and it will not impact the school system at all. Check, that part's approved. You still have to have traffic and water and sewer approved, but check, schools, we approve. How come? Because 5 kids going into our school system will not impact our school in a negative way. We can handle that. Make sense? The next one, okay? It's still being worked on now. 1,000 homes off Trotwood. The school study comes in and they do it on that, and it's regular families and young families coming in and starter families or second home families, and they're going to average, let's say, 2.1 children per household, okay? So with 1,000 homes, that is 2,100 children that are going to impact our school system. So they do studies and they break it down, and just talking, let's say where there's 640 grade school kids, 720 middle school kids, and 740 high school kids. I know that's not the number. I'm just throwing that out. That's 2,100 kids, okay? So for that, we're going to need a new grade school, and it's going to cost $35 million. And for those kids, we're going to need a new middle school, and that's $65 million. And we're going to need a new high school. That's $100 million. So that is $200 million in schools to provide for the education for this new subdivision that is being right now offered off Trotwood for 1,000 homes. Okay, so we have $200 million in schools to provide for the education. The school study comes back not approved. How come? We cannot approve the subdivision because we do not have available space in our current schools, and we don't have $200 million in the county budget to build 3 new schools. How hard is that? I'm not a politician. Problems are made to be fixed. Guess what? We cannot approve the subdivision because we do not have the $200 million to provide for 2,100 new students that will come out of this subdivision after it's done a school study by professionals who know what they're talking about. How hard is that? We're not doing that, okay? Some say, well, we can't stop the growth. Again, some growth works. And some growth does not. And that's what we need to see. Single houses on 5 acres, impact minimal. 1,000 homes on 400 acres, big impact. Some people say, oh, well, the property taxes will take care of that. Some people, I don't know where they went to school, but that math doesn't work. The average county taxes, property taxes on a home in Maury County is $1,600. Let's say they're nicer homes, and let's say it's $2,000, okay? So at $2,000 times 1,000 homes, that's $2 million in taxes. And for schools, we need $200 million to build the new schools, plus the roads and water and sewer and all the rest of it, okay? Just for the schools, we need $200 million, and it's going to bring in $2 million a year in taxes. Now, let's be fair. Let's say, well, look, it's going to take $10 million for us to build those 1,000 homes. Okay, 10 years of $2 million taxes is $20 million. That only leaves $180 million for the developers to pay. What do you think? They can divide it up by house, $180,000 extra per house. I doubt they'll do that because they're not willing to pay for it, but they expect the county to pay for that. So who's going to pay for it? The retired couple in Culleoka on a fixed income because their property taxes keep going to go up and up. A single mom in Columbia working 2 jobs to try to take care of her family, finally able to buy her first new house, and now her property tax is going to go up where she can't afford that. That is who is going to have to pay for the schools for the people who live in that subdivision. That isn't right. That's not fair. That's not just, and that shouldn't happen. It doesn't seem quite fair to raise their property taxes so the builders and the developers and the lawyers and the realtors and the bankers can make a lot of money. Now, if you think that's fair and you think that's right, then you need to run for office and make that point. I don't think it is. Now, if the builders want to, they can add $180,000 to each house to pay for the county to build the schools. Okay? Seems like that would work. But they won't do that. If people really want the homes and subdivisions, then maybe they can find other ways to help fund it. How about they find somebody who wants to donate $40 million per school? That's $120 million to name it. Okay, you got Cox Middle School, you got Baker School. Hey, that's somebody who got their name on a building. Let's say, all right, naming rights for a building, $40 million. That's $120 million. Then the other $60 million, $20 million per school, they can name, somebody else can name the gym or a science lab or a lunchroom. Guess what? It's paid for. Before we can approve the subdivision, we have to make sure the water, the roads, the traffic, the sewer, the water is taken care of, and they need to make sure the schools are taken care of. The impact for this subdivision on our school system is 2,100 students, and the 3 new schools, that's $200 million. How are we going to pay for that? They don't tell you that. All they do is pack it on to a county commission that will be mandated to provide schools for them to keep raising people's property tax. Okay? That's it. Now, that's one issue. I don't have time in a video, and this is long already. I don't have time in a video to go through everything, but that's how issues should be handled. Logical, sensible, with wisdom, okay? You cannot keep doing that. The last city planning meeting, I got up and spoke, and I talked about that. And you could tell the people on the city planning committee hadn't thought about that. They didn't have that. They asked the school board director later when he came up, okay, how many children per home? How is this going to impact us? They are approving these without even taking care of them at all. Those things need to be done and planned before we ever approve those, okay? Those are some of the things that need to be done. What's best for you? What's best for Maury County? Not what's best for the out-of-town builders and developers that are making lots of money up front and saddling the property owners with millions of dollars in debt to pay for decades, okay? Has that happened so far? It has. We have in our county right now, the last budget came out, $319 million in county debt, 89% of which is school debt. What's been done in the past? Just that. Oh, we got to have new schools. Oh, county commission borrows it. Oh, raise the property tax. Congratulations. That does not need to happen. We just had voted in the largest property tax increase, I believe, in the history of Maury County. Why? For schools. Because we have no plan and no way to fund the schools. Build houses? Sure, great. Let's just make sure that we have checked off traffic and water and sewer and roads and schools. Logical, sensible, okay? If you're still undecided about these things and who you think is strong enough to stand up for you, who won't have any loyalties but to the residents of Maury County, I hope that you think about me. If there's any other issue you have a question about, we have a couple days, okay? Here's my cell number. Put it on the screen, 931-797-1816. Text me, hey, I'm an undecided voter. I got a couple questions about things. Here's what they are. When do you have a few minutes? And we'll find a time and we'll talk. If you want to meet, glad to do that. I had people that came on the line and walked up to our tent and awning and said, all right, I think I'm voting for you, but I want to meet you and look in your eyes and talk to you and ask you some questions. Great. So they did. And all right, I thought I was voting for you. Now I am. I just want to make sure. I want to look in your eyes and shake your hand. If you want to do that, that's great. I'd be glad to. Let's get a time and place and meet. Would love to be able to do that. If you're undecided, I would love to be able to help you answer your questions and help you to feel comfortable about this vote for county mayor. It is a big deal, and it does impact our lives. Okay, I would love to do that. Would love to have your vote. When it was almost over, second to the last day, a couple drove out and they slowed down and they said, all right, we voted for you. We gave you a chance. Now don't mess it up. I said, thank you. I will do my best. And I will tell you that. I will do my best not to mess this up if you give me a chance. Thank you.